Observer. And now I'm going to alert you as well. I mean, I knew that Donald Trump and his administration was moving pretty fast, especially since it's so exhausting to watch the breaking news every single moment from Aaron Parnas. But were you aware that Trump and his administration has completed 34% of Project 2025? I'm going to let you sit with that for a little bit. If you don't remember, Project 2025 is a 900-page playbook, and 34% is accomplished. If you need a reminder, it's only been a month. Trump was inaugurated January 20th, 4 weeks ago, and his administration has been able to accomplish 200 points to their objective list. This is just a screenshot of the things that they were able to complete in 4 weeks. Remember, a certain mustache man only needed 53 days. 53 days. And we are 4 weeks in with 34% of a 900-page playbook that's close to 50% accomplished. Now, we already know that our United States Congress is not going to do jack shit. They're out to lunch. They've been out to lunch. So the question is, what do? Do we protest? Do we get up and fight for ourselves? Do we take a lot of sedatives and nap for the next 4 years? Do we sell all of our possessions, our home, and get the hell out of the United States? I mean, I'm at a serious loss for words. I'm feeling analysis paralysis, more of the paralysis on what to do at this point. This shit is scary.
Welcome to another episode of Seen and Heard podcast, where everyone should be seen and heard. I'm your host, Sharon, and we're joined tonight with my co-host, Ms. Kennis. Hello, Ms. Kennis. What were your thoughts on that? That's terrifying, and I thought that was important to open up with. And while you're giving your thoughts, I'm going to just pull up the tracker for everybody to see.
So, if in a month, we are 34% in by tax day, the whole Project 2025 will have been completed. So what, for me, the question would be, what's after May 1st? Let's just say overall progress, 30, maybe 25, 30%. So when he's done doing everything that's in Project 2025, what's next? I mean, we can go read Project 2025 and see what's going on and know, okay, check mark, check mark, check mark. These are the things he's done. These are the things he's working on. And these are the things that remain to be done. So Donald Trump is somebody, he's like a child who has some little behavioral issues and can't keep still. So he's not going to be able to keep still, because in his eyesight, he will have accomplished everything in 2025. He's a success, riding high. Then the question is, what is his little pea brain going to tell him to do next for 3 years and 9 months? And that's scary for me. Not this. This isn't scary. I mean, you can look at his playbook and see what's going on now. What's going to happen after he completes everything in his little playbook? And nobody's talking about that. We keep talking about Project 2025.
Well, this chart, I just found that interesting. I was getting ready for bed. I had already meditated, and thought I was going to lay down, and I saw this video. So I wanted to share this with everybody too, just so you could be aware. Also, a copy of Project 2025, I will have this also linked in the description, so you guys could look it over, just in case there are people out there that haven't looked over Project 2025. It's 922 pages, but I have the PDF link, and I'll just link it in the description so y'all can look it over yourself. But yeah, so what he's doing, and then with the other distractions, and I don't want to call it distractions, because he is being deliberate in what he's doing. Like little things like this that he posted from the official White House today. I don't find anything about this funny. I'm pulling up this image. I don't find anything about that funny. And that was posted on the official website page. Congestion pricing is dead. Manhattan and all of New York is saved. Long live the king. I'm not calling him the P word, and I'm not going to bow to him as him thinking that he's a king. I'm just not doing that. I'm just speaking for myself. But this is not funny to me.
Well, he's either going to call himself the king or the dictator. Which one would you prefer?
That either. I mean, he could call himself whatever he wants, and they're always so concerned about people wanting to name themselves what they want, like pronouns and all that stuff. Well, I'm not.
Pronouns are illegal. He said nobody is to use pronouns in the federal government any longer. Can't use pronouns.
Until we get a legitimate, P word, I'm not using that. And who's to say we'll ever get a chance to do that? But thanks to the Supreme Court, granted Toddler in Chief broad immunity for official acts placing him above the law. Because I can't say president's above the law, because if that were the case, why didn't Biden, like you said before in the podcast last year, Biden could have used those immunity acts.
Immunities. Yes, he could have. And he chose not to.
I'll never understand that. That's and this I want to play this clip. We were talking about Hakeem Jeffries. Like I just really am annoyed by Democrats like him. I want to play this clip, and then we'll talk on the other side. But I'm just really annoyed. I'm so annoyed. Yes. Hold on a second. Let me pull it up here. Is this it? This is it. Okay. We were talking about this yesterday on the other podcast. I'm going to play this.
The presidency, it's their government. What leverage do we have? I'm trying to figure out what leverage we actually have. What leverage do we have? They control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. It's their government.
I am not. I mean, that's unacceptable. That is just absolutely unacceptable to me. What are your thoughts?
So, if he were my husband, he would have to sleep in another bed, in another room, on another floor. I will have lost all respect for him in that 18-second speech. There is no way he could come home. No way he could come home. And by the way, by the time he got there, his stuff would probably be sitting outside the door. No. How weak, I'm going to use that word. How weak can he be? Even his I think those are his grandparents. Dr. Leonard Jeffries and Dr. Jeffries' wife. I think those are his grandparents. I think. They got more humpha. Now I'm making that word up. They got more humpha than he has. And they got to be in their late 80s, mid to late 80s, easily. I am so embarrassed. And I don't get embarrassed easily. And Black people be like, it was just so embarrassing. Rarely does anything embarrass me. But this is a moment of sheer embarrassment. How in the world can you stand there and say, we're just gonna lay down and let the military, those big old military tank things, ride over us, hit the brakes, back up, and then come back again? That's so. And he's like the second second in charge in the House. He's the minority House person.
Yeah, he was running for House leader. Now, the difference from how he was behaving or acting to now, it's like overnight. It's the same thing. It reminds me of Lindsey Graham. When Miss Lindsey Graham during the first reign of terror, Lindsey was like all anti-Trump, this, that, and he was calling him out. And then he went to Mar-a-Lagos to play golf or have a meeting with him. And immediately after that meeting, this is how Jeffries is acting. It's like,
so who did Jeffries go play golf with? He didn't go to
Well-
Mar-a-Lago.
well, no, I'm just saying, like, it's like the same behavior.
Yeah.
Like, this is like overnight. So, well, and then as much as everybody,
hotels.
yeah. So I'm thinking, like, Nancy Pelosi has a habit of doing that, because I noticed an abrupt change in AOC. Like, I don't praise any politician, but I did like some of her passion when she first came on the scene and she got elected and everything. And then as soon as she had a meeting with Nancy Pelosi, she kind of, pulled back.
Anybody who goes in Pelosi's chamber comes out changed.
Yep, castrated. It was like almost castrated.
They come out like little eunuchs.
So this is the same thing with Hakeem Jeffries, because a lot of what he was saying on the floor, like a few years back, I was just like, yes, we need more passion in the Democrats party like this. And then all of a sudden, this is the result of what? Like,
yes, who did he
it's
go play
maddening.
golf with?
It's maddening. It's maddening.
Who-
I want to I want to play this.
Play golf with.
I
'Cause if he's the person that we are looking to as our political director,
mhm.
air quote director, then we lost. I mean,
Wait.
more loss behind him than we would be just because little man won another term in the White House. We expect certain things from little man, but you, sir, are the person that we expect to get our call to action from, get our words
Guidance.
of encouragement, our guidance, our directives, everything. And you're standing there like a little wimp.
And on that, I'm going to play a small clip of Amanda Seales. Now, over the years, there's mixed reviews of how people feel about Amanda Seales, and you're not supposed to totally agree with everything that somebody says or does. But I like to watch Don Lemon. I'm a Lemon head, and he had her on his show. So this clip I'm going to play, she's discussing the Democrats and what we were just talking about, and we'll talk on the other side. I'm not going to play the full clip. I will play just the one part, and then I will link it in the description so you guys can watch the full podcast later. But this is relevant to the conversation of the Democrats.
Sort of attached to the system, and then you also mentioned AIPAC, right? Do you think that contributed to their losses? Explain that, because people are going to feel a certain kind of way about it. You're saying?
Which people?
I think people, they're going to think that you are criticizing Israel, that you may be anti-Semitic and all those
Oh, I'm
things.
absolutely criticizing Israel.
Yeah.
I am not anti-Semitic in any shape, way, or form, nor is criticizing Israel anti-Semitic. And that is a fact. So we can continue to always amplify that reality. The same way that CRT is not Black history, we always have to make sure that we amplify that reality. The same way that DEI is not lowered criteria. So when we see the bastardization of these words into weaponization, we always have to make sure that we address it loudly and set the record straight. So I am critical of the apartheid government. Yes. That said, AIPAC made it their business to unseat a number of Democrats, namely Cori Bush and Jamal Bowman, who were members of the squad that you were naming, that you pointed out. They were members of the progressive sect of Democrats, and that is why they were removed. And many would say that they feel AOC kind of toned down her messaging because she didn't want the same fate to happen to her. They tried to get Ilhan Omar out of there. It didn't happen. They tried to get Rashida Tlaib. It didn't happen. I think we have to acknowledge, though, that if we're having conversations around government and we're not including the way that AIPAC is a bipartisan undermining of how our votes show up on a federal and state and scale, then we're not having the real conversation.
Thoughts on that?
My girl, I have nothing negative to say. She is absolutely correct. We have got to stop kowtowing to all these people who say the minute you say Israel ain't or Netanyahu ain't, we have got to get away from allowing people to say, "Oh, you're anti-Semitic, anti-Semitic, anti-Semitic." When you're telling the truth does not make you anti-Semitic. It just makes you tell the truth. That's all. And as far as as her thought process is concerned, I wholeheartedly agree with her. We just got to do a better job. That's all. And I'm concerned about Don Lemon. I wasn't sure what he was talking about when he was talking about, well, you might be branded as being anti-Semitic. There's nothing anti-Semitic about what she said. Same thing about her comment on CRT. Same thing about her comment on DEI. The minute somebody puts something in cyberspace, we take it and run with it. Oh, DEI, it's bad, it's bad. That's how come I can't get a job. No, you can't get a job because your resume wasn't right. No, you can't get a job because you didn't have the right skill sets. No, you can't get a job because someone more qualified than you was hired.